Hi everyone! Welcome to this month's edition of ELAA Connections. This month, we're talking about student-centered teaching in a classroom with limited resources. Most of you are teaching in rooms that lack computers and projectors, and our students never have copies of textbooks, except for maybe Oxford Picture Dictionaries. Teaching without modern resources can be incredibly challenging, but happily, it also forces us to become more creative. Some of you know that I served as a teacher of English as a foreign language in the Peace Corps, in Chad and in Mauritania. And this is a picture of me teaching in my classroom in Mauritania. You can tell I'm teaching prepositions. I'm saying the pen is in the copybook. And this is one of my classrooms in Chad. It was very breezy, but did not have a lot of resources. And this is one of my classrooms in Mauritania. So in these pictures, you can see the extent of my classroom resources: the blackboard, chalk, and students' notebooks. Just like in our Literacy Connects ELAA classrooms, there was no technology and no textbooks. And because there were no textbooks, the students needed to copy everything down from the board if they wanted to go home and study. This was an incredibly challenging teaching situation, but I believe it fundamentally shaped my approach to teaching. Technology is nice, but we're creative, resourceful educators, and we can adapt and find creative solutions. The point I'd like to emphasize today is that the board can be your best friend. Our biggest resource in our classrooms is the board. In order to maximize the board's usefulness for ourselves and our students, it's important that the board be well organized and easy to read. Our brains can process and store organized information with much less effort than if that same information was scattered or disorganized. We have some examples here. Just focus on the board layout. Don't worry about the lesson content. So let's take a look at the first one, a grammar lesson on the present progressive or the present continuous. So you can see that it's all in one color and the marker's not very clear. It's a mix of cursive and sloppy print, which, full disclosure, this is what my handwriting actually looks like. We have some example sentences, but they're not all on the same topic, and we have some random words. So how easy would it be for you to copy this down in your notebook? Would you be able to study it at home? Here is another board on the same grammar topic. You can see that it's well organized, and it uses colors to differentiate between elements. There's a vocabulary parking lot for things that come up that aren't directly related to the topic. Okay, now let's look at a speaking activity. Can you tell what the speaking activity is here? There's still old stuff on the board and the activity is unclear. But in this one, we've erased the old stuff, which of course you can do after the students have finished copying. We have necessary grammar points still up there to help clarify. We have the vocabulary parking lot, and we can clearly see that it's a conversation activity. We've used a different color to underline the target grammar point, and there are even directions for the activity for students to refer back to. So to provide students with the most effective visual support, your board should include clear, large handwriting, logical layout with sections, including one that can be erased, consistent layout, consistent use of multiple colors, and make sure to check that the colors are visible. Sometimes, like for example, the green is really hard to see. You can have a vocabulary parking lot. You can use drawings and include instructions for any activities that you're going to do. This kind of organization does not come naturally to me. I had to learn it in the Peace Corps, and I still plan my board layout as I plan my lesson. So especially in beginning classes, I have a sheet of paper in addition to my plan that shows me what I want my board to look like. I even plan in my lesson what I will write on the board and when I will erase it. In order to make sure that your beautiful board is visible to everybody in the room, during class, mosey around the room, particularly to the back and the corners, to make sure that the board is still visible. Ask your assistants or co-teachers to let you know if it's not visible or legible. And if you have bad handwriting, that's okay. Ask your co-teacher or your assistant or even a student to do the writing on the board. Finally, remember, students love to use the board too. Get them involved in writing on the board as much as possible. So in conclusion, even though teaching with limited resources is really challenging, with a little bit of organization and a lot of creativity, we can create communicative, student-centered classes that help our students achieve their goals.